You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James.
And this is THCOTY.
No, we're not going to call it that.
We are.
Throttle House Car of the Year?
THCOTY.
You can't call it that.
Yeah. THCOTY doesn't know.
Okay, we'll have it your way. THCOTY 2022.
It's a good thing this wasn't on Extra Throttle House, because it would be THCOTY.
Yeah, we got promotion. We used to work for Extra Throttle House.
Yeah, now we're here.
We're on the main channel.
Well, this is a video that we usually would put on Extra Throttle House, but we decided that since we're in charge, we get to make the choices. And so here is Car of the Year.
Also, these Extra Throttle House guys have it good. This is comfy.
This is way easier. Yeah, it's not fair.
All right, so to be Throttle House Car of the Year,
yes,
it has to be a car that moves the game forward, something where it has to come out this year.
Has to have come out this year, yes.
We had a line, and I don't really know what it is off the top of my head, but Throttle House, Throttle House is a car channel for enthusiasts, and Car of the Year is the car that we are most enthusiastic about.
Wow. It's written right there.
No.
Delete. Okay, so yes, that is what it is. The Throttle House Car of the Year is going to be something. It doesn't have to be a sports car. It doesn't have to be. We don't have subcategories. We don't do Truck of the Year. We don't do Crossover of the Year. We don't do
Compact crossover.
Subcompact crossover.
Subcompact crossover.
We don't do whatever. I don't know what any of the differences between those are still to this day, honestly. But but it's going to be something that we drove and we care about and we think is cool.
Yes.
End.
So, we have some runner-ups.
Yes, we do.
Runners-ups?
Runners-ups. Runners-up.
Runners-up sounds like something they stick in their arm to go faster for.
The runners-up?
Runners-ups,
It's like sensu beans. Okay, so this is a list in absolutely no particular order. This is not in ascending order. And then we're going to say the Car of the Year after we get through these. Because these are cars that we had to debate over.
Yeah.
Whether they were going to get Car of the Year.
This was difficult, but not the most difficult year.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. We didn't think it would be difficult, and then it got difficult. Anyway, the first one.
The M4 CSL.
Teething its way into the action.
What?
Teething?
Teethin?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Got big teeth.
Oh,
We had some teething issues. There we go.
There it is. So the M4 CSL doesn't get Car of the Year because main reason is it's not that different to a regular M4.
No, and it's twice the price.
And it mostly because it looks like a hairy butt crack.
I think
that's what's preventing me, I think.
For us, obviously this is a subjective list, but a big part of it is, and value will play a part because if something is overpriced, that hurts it. But I also think, desirability is a big thing. And it's not something we often touch on in our reviews because from an aesthetic standpoint, it's a lot of subjective stuff, but that is what this is today. And therefore, the M4 CSL, despite its amazing ability...
Also, we're in charge, so it's not winning.
We're in charge.
The M4, if it had had a specialty engine, or if it had had a different front end, maybe it could have been Car of the Year.
Also, there's a real CSL that's coming.
Yes.
So it kind of hurt.
That was very confusing.
There's a real, is it 3.0 they're calling it again?
I think they're calling
3.0
it
CSL.
Which looks better, but doesn't even have a special engine. It's still...
And it's like $700,000.
Anyway, I loved driving the M4 CSL, which is why it's on the short list, because it was a riot to drive, and it genuinely drove better than the normal M4.
I remember saying it felt dangerous. It was one of the more dangerous.
Yes.
It really had that kind of American muscle car scare.
Yeah. It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Next on the list, we have the
new Civic Type R,
which does not get Car of the Year, primarily because it's slower than the old one.
That doesn't bother me. It's slower in a straight line.
What other lines are there?
There's curvy lines, there's hairpins.
Yeah, and if the old one was on the same... We haven't tested this, but I have a hunch that if the old one was on the same fat, new, sticky tires that the new Type R is on, it would be quicker around the track, too.
The challenge to that hunch is the wider track and all the other stuff they've done with it. But it would, I agree, it would be ridiculously close.
Right.
At the very least.
Also... Listen, full disclosure, we love the Type R. It was great. Interior's cool. It looks
Yeah,
fantastic.
any
It's
car
fun to
we're
drive.
naming here is a car that we absolutely
These are all
loved.
great cars.
Yeah.
But here we are nitpicking it because it's not car of the year. No heated seats, no heated steering wheel. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, I know it's like a thing for the Type R, but that shift knob is freezing.
Yeah.
And like we thought we were complaining about it in Toronto. We drove it in California,
Yeah.
and it was also cold mornings in California, and that thing stays cold for like the first half an hour of your drive.
It's like 40 minutes of it sucking the temperature from your hand bones.
Yeah. That doesn't stop it being car of the year. I can kind of deal with that. But yeah, I just
Also, the ride isn't really any better.
The rides are
even
harsh.
though the steering wheel, the tires are taller sidewalls.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've. It's not a perfect car, but the seats are incredible. I think it's still my favorite hot hatch as far as just joy.
Interesting that you say that because the next one on the list is
GR
the GR Corolla is not car of the year.
No. Why? False advertising.
Yeah, I was promised drifting.
I didn't think it was going to stay in a straight line from all the marketing. It's just going to fly everywhere.
Sideways all over the place. But no, okay, so the issue with it was that, and for those of you that watched our GR Corolla video, I think you were driving it, and you tried to slide it, I tried to slide it around a little bit, and we had it in the 70% rear mode, but we did try it in 50-50 mode, and we are aware of the fact that the engineers actually told the journalists that you're better off drifting in 50-50 mode.
Yeah.
But trust me, we tried it in every single mode. We tried every single thing that we could possibly think of. Other than ripping the handbrake, on dry surface, you cannot get that car to oversteer.
Yeah. However,
it's
the new STI.
It is great.
It is the new
It is
WX STI.
Fantastic.
And it's very, very good. It's very, very quick. And I think it looks good. Some people have a problem with the looks. I think it looks pretty good.
I don't have any issues with the looks at all. I think it's really...
The seats give the Type R seats a run for their money.
Yep.
They're very, very comfortable.
Yep.
The shift action, I actually prefer in the GR to the Type R.
Yeah. It's also really cool.
It's really cool.
It's an unquantifiable, really cool car.
Yeah.
I think it's just... I'm so happy that it exists.
Yeah, I think
Right?
this is probably a good moment to do the short disclaimer of, we know there are markups on these cars. All these cars should be accessible. The whole point, especially of the hot hatch genre, was to be an accessible genre of car for the people the working person.
Yes.
And that's not
And it's
the
not
case.
the case. Everything's
So,
marked up to the moon and it's
yeah.
stupid. So
That,
you can't-
again, not the reason it's not car of the year, but
Because everything is subject to this,
Yeah.
obviously, even car of the year.
Yeah.
But no, the GR Corolla is a brilliant hatch, and
What would you take? Type R, GR, or Golf R?
I would take a Golf R personally,
Especially if they're fixing the steering wheel buttons.
especially this.
Because it does everything.
I think even if they didn't fix the steering wheel buttons, but this is just because I'm a sucker for oversteer, and the Golf R you can genuinely drift around, right? And none of the other hatches do that.
I do think the GR Corolla, like the GR Yaris, and this is something maybe we haven't said enough, that is the car that will come alive for the same reasons as the STI on loose surface.
Yeah.
If you have any plans to do that with these vehicles, I don't think the GR Corolla is beat in that category.
Well, we can't say that conclusively because we haven't done the Golf R.
But I don't want to damage my German hot hatch on stones or wood chips.
Oh, there it is,
This is
see?
a Toyota.
Yeah.
With big plastic cladding.
Rugged.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would love to do a little rally course on a GR Corolla. I think that'd be fantastic.
Should we move on to this one before this one?
Yes, we should.
So, along the lines of all of this, is the divisive
It's only divisive
in the way
between me and James.
and in between us and the world in the way everyone says it. Is it A, the Hyundai Elantra? Is it B, the Hyundai Elantra? Or how do I say it? Hyundai Elantra.
You say Hyundai.
Hyundai Elantra. Which the Koreans credit me with
Hyundai
being
Elantra.
correct.
I don't say the Y.
Yeah, and if
say
you're someone
Hyundai.
that says it's Hyundai, like Sunday, it was in the commercials, just realize that those commercials were in your country and not a different country.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Anyway, the Elantra.
It's xenophobia, like xenophobia. I
Okay,
joke.
so the Elantra N is a brilliant car, start to finish. I said this in the video. What video was that? It was a drag race that we did some
Yeah,
lap times
between
in.
the Elantra, the Type R, and I think the GR.
In the GR. Driving that Elantra N back to back with the GR Corolla, and James and I do not share this opinion exactly, but I'm just going to say mine first, then you go.
Sure.
Out of the Elantra N, the GR Corolla, the Type R, and the Golf R, the Elantra N is the most exciting car in the corners. It feels stiffer. The steering is amazing for me. The way that the chassis moves around feels light and it feels agile, and the tuning of the suspension and everything is brilliant. I love it.
I agree with everything to do with suspension and chassis. I just, the steering of it feels artificially heavy to me, and I think the Type R really strikes the balance. But
And listen, I don't.
and the value of the Elantra
We've
is
been
insane.
arguing about this for months
Yeah.
now. I don't think it's artificial. He thinks it's artificial weight. I don't actually know. If you happen to be the engineer that's watching this that tuned the steering and the enter end, leave a comment and say
I'm not
which one
alone.
of us is an idiot.
I just think it's too heavy. It's just too heavy.
It is quite
on
heavy,
the track.
yeah.
I appreciate it, but just around town.
Yeah,
I don't
fair
know.
enough, yeah.
I think that it's a brilliant car.
It is a brilliant
the
car.
value, the fact that I think it starts with a 3 in Canada.
It's like around 10 grand Canadian less than the other ones, right?
And as far as longevity and reliability and stuff, we don't know any of that for any of these vehicles because
Yes.
they've just come out. If you're watching this in 10 years, you're like, idiot.
Idiots electric.
Yeah, they're all on fire.
They blow up at
Yeah.
200,000 kilometers. Yeah, we don't know.
It also comes in a DCT, which is fun for that car.
It is a really, really, really good car that doesn't actually look that good. That's one of the main issues that's like bringing
Yeah,
it
there's
down.
something about this, and again, we can be subjective in Car of the Year. There's something about the Type R's just badging and history that...
The red Honda badge
yeah,
is cool.
it just kind of... And the championship white with the
Yeah.
red seats and the red floors. There's something so
Cool.
distinctly hot hatchy about it. Anyway.
No, anyway, so the Enter N is not car of the year.
Not Car of the Year.
Neither is the...
Bronco Raptor. I don't think anyone's ever said it like that.
Nope, never.
Here at Gryffindor.
So the Bronco Raptor.
What fun.
What fun it is to ride. It is a Baja off-road insane thing that has as much suspension travel as a God knows what, but you can take huge hits, go off massive jumps, and do insane rock crawling with it.
Yeah, and if it means we get to put Karston in funny hats, we're all for
In
it.
Palm Springs, then yes.
In Palm Springs.
No,
It doesn't have air conditioning in the back, which I really felt in Palm Springs.
It does have air conditioning back, but it doesn't really reach the back.
No, there's no vent.
There's no vent.
On,
But
like,
like,
at the
you're
back
in
of-
the same cabin as the people in the front, but like it just the heat doesn't the heat
reach.
wins.
Yeah.
The heat wins by the end. By the time you get to the back seats.
But what out of the box, what a fun car! And like
Yes.
since then, we've driven the Wrangler 392, which has so much character in the engine.
Yeah.
But I think all round, I think the Broncos come along and it's just understood the
It
assignment.
also looks badass.
It's massive as well.
It's the wheel is so wide and it's really cool. But it is not car of the year.
No.
Neither is the
Maserati MC20.
okay.
Now,
so
we're slightly divided on this car, which is fine. I think it's natural. I think the fact that we have different tastes in cars sometimes is not...
it's real.
It's
That's
not
what it
bad.
is.
I think we both agree
It's
that
beautiful.
it's beautiful
Yes.
and stunning. And we
Yes.
saw it at a supercar car meet recently, and it just belongs. It
Yeah.
totally fits.
It
with
also feels arguably more special at a supercar car meet because everyone has a 488 or
the 488 is just
McLaren
everywhere.
thing that I don't even care about or know.
everything. Name 3 McLarens.
Well,
That aren't the hypercars.
Well, okay. There is the 670S. No, there's a 650S.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah.
There is the 675 LT and the 720S.
Nice. You didn't want to name the Altura, that new thing?
Oh, right.
There we go.
McLaren is horrible at
Yeah.
marketing their new cars. I literally don't care and I can't keep up.
Whereas MC20,
It's simple. It's a one thing. It's from a cool brand.
it's literally the same. It's just a number with some letters.
Yeah, but it's the MC12, Stradale, and the thing, and the pretty, and
Yeah.
it's got the birdcage design, and the
All
anyway.
right, so go on. Why do you love it? And I'm just going to add my little upsets.
Okay, I actually, interestingly, I love it for the same reason you don't.
Is that ridiculous? Like,
That sounded cool though, didn't
sounds pretentious.
it? It does sound pretentious.
You don't seem to see what I see. As a scientist,
is what-
and you as an artist,
Yes.
I notice the complication.
I'm seeing the forest through the trees.
No, we're in the desert. That's where you crash the drone.
I'm seeing the cactus in the
You're
field.
seeing nothing through those trees. You crashed the drone into the tree.
Okay, the tree came around a corner. It was blind. Anyway, so I didn't crash the MC20, even though I felt like I was going to a couple times because it's nuts. It's a crazy
and
car.
there's no steering feel.
And there's no.
I'm getting involved now.
Back up. There is the This is so funny because usually you're like, the steering is too heavy. I'm James, and this
No,
one.
I want the steering to be perfect. I want it to be in the Goldilocks zone.
So many criteria to make this guy happy. The MC20 steering is light, but I felt that it felt like there's feel.
I felt more when my
At
17th
prep.
goldfish died. I don't care. It's so overboosted and light. And
It
also,
is.
our cabin was definitely squeaking.
Oh, it made so many noises. It
Yeah.
was bad.
Yeah.
But listen, I like driving it because the boost came on, this insane amount of boost came on in a ridiculous way. The whole car felt like it was shaking itself to pieces at speed. It was scary and nervous and unsorted in a very classic supercar way, which I liked.
Yes, I think it was such a welcome addition to the year. It's just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's why.
This thing made me nervous. Not a lot of modern cars can make me nervous, but on a canyon road, the MC20 made me feel like I had to really pay attention to drive it.
But we back to back that with the F8 on the same trip.
Yeah.
And that's not here because it didn't come out that year, but
yeah.
that was a wonderful car. And we thought the whole time it was twice the price. And we got in the F8 and we were like, this is twice the car.
Yeah.
And it wasn't twice the price. It was only like 50 grand more.
No, and like objectively, the Ferrari is so far ahead in chassis tuning and engine tuning and everything compared to the Maserati that it was almost like a joke. Yeah. But the MC20 for me had enough character that I was like, this is just such a cool car. And for all of those reasons, you didn't like it. There you go.
The F8 was just so good. It just it provided a context that unfortunately for the MC20 didn't help its case.
Correct.
All right.
My car of the year is the 458 Speciale.
You can't have that as car of the year.
No.
It came out a long time ago.
It's so good.
It was ridiculously ridiculously good.
I can't. I've
Does
never.
anyone have $500,000?
I've never driven a car that I got out of and was like genuinely like sappy and emotional. I was like, this is just the most incredible thing. Anyway, we have more cars that aren't car of the year.
Yes, only a couple. The Rivian R1T, which came out at the very beginning of the year. It seems like a long time ago now.
Yes, but it
we
was this
have
year.
filmed the R1S.
Yep.
That video is coming out soon if you haven't seen it already. And not giving away much,
The R1T is the move.
the R1T it revolutionized things in the way the R1S didn't. The way, like for a truck, the way it was able to hustle through the canyon,
Also, just like the layout, the thought that went into the layout of
Yeah.
where the motors are, where the storage is, how much space
that
you
gear
get.
tunnel's amazing.
The gear tunnel is incredible. The way that you can customize it. It is a car truck thing that genuinely feels like it was designed for a lifestyle, and they're so effectively selling the lifestyle to you, and people are eating it up, and that's okay because it is actually genuine. Alex Honnold, I think, drives a Rivian R1T.
Does he?
That just automatically makes it cool. You know, Alex Honnold, the guy that did this free soloing along the wall, all that stuff.
It's also,
It just makes it cool.
it has absurd power. I can't remember, I think it's like 845 horsepower, 900 pound-feet of torque or something like that.
Yes.
And it just handles it. It's built to handle it.
It's a
You know, and a special mention here to the Hummer EV,
yes,
because
yes.
that also is very good at handling what it can do, even though
Yeah.
it's a giant.
But the Hummer EV, it doesn't make the short list for me because
It's just too silly.
It's just too dumb. It's an exercise in what happens if you're just like, how big can we make the numbers associated with the vehicle, and then
Well, they did
sell
that
it to the
full
public.
thing. It was like 13,000 horsepower or
Yeah, the
torque,
marketing
pound-feet of
is
torque.
stupid.
Yeah.
But, hey, listen, I like the Hummer EV, and I know we said we weren't going to talk about it, but like it's got the Apollo program stuff attached to it. It's a Saturn
No,
V
it's
rocket,
fine.
and
But
it
the
doesn't
R1T
launch.
slides in.
Yeah, way better.
Okay.
This is
This is
arguably the runner-up.
the runner-up.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you hear this, you might know what the car of the year is.
Yeah. So this car that isn't car of the year is the
Well, hold on, I'll give you some
Whoa.
clues.
okay.
It's mid-engined.
It is naturally aspirated.
It sounds incredible.
Oh, they don't know what it is yet, do they? This is great.
It's really very fast,
It is quite expensive.
and it's hard to attain.
This is so fun because you guys have no idea what it is. I mean, you've probably narrowed it down to two cars.
It is the Cayman GT4 RS.
Is not car of the year.
It's not the father. Yes! No.
So why? Explain to ladies and gentlemen why the
Okay.
GT4 RS is not.
So it is so very close.
Yep.
And it is so very incredible. It turned us into an owl. It turned me into an owl.
It did turn you into an owl, yes. Okay, so the GT4 RS is a brilliant thing, and the sound design they did on that by putting the airbox in the cabin. And there's no partition to the top of the airbox, and the noise.
And the looks, the blue magnesium wheels,
It was
the
just-
Weissach package.
It was a brilliant thing, but it was not car of the year because I don't want to say they just took the GT3 engine, but they just took the GT3 engine and stuffed it in a Cayman. Thank you, Porsche, because it's a great idea.
It was almost an admission or a confession that they'd been sandbagging the Cayman the whole time. Like,
Yeah,
it won't
exactly.
fit. This is impossible.
Yeah.
You know, and there's this consistent theory online of this. You know, the Cayman isn't able to reach its full potential, even though fundamentally it's the better sports car because of its layout.
Yeah.
But I don't know what stops that making the GT4 RS car of the year though.
Because the other thing exists.
Because the other, yeah, this is what we get to. It's like this is so very good. But there's one other thing that came along and changed the nation. Any more on the GT4 RS before we...
I honestly watch our video on it. Bing, link, that is
Now
all
I have
we
to
can
put
say.
a link there. I'm never going to remember.
He's never
to
going
do
to find that. If not, you just Google it. Okay, the car of the year for Throttle House in 2022.
that. It's mid-engined. It's hard to... Oh, I've already done this.
We've done this. It is the Corvette Z06.
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 Z. You're Canadian,
I'm Canadian, but I
say
also
Z.
say Porsche, not Porsche.
so you're a panderer.
No, I'm just trying to pronounce it in the native tongue. American. I'm trying. Listen, you've been yelling at me for as I say. I agree, it is a Z06 because that is the correct way to say that letter of the alphabet. Sorry, America. Anyway, this is an amazing car for so many reasons.
It has one small downside, but it's so forgivable.
It's not a small downside, it's a huge downside. But
I can't say huge downside because it seems like it hasn't earned car of the year.
But the other stuff is so good
Exactly.
that it makes up for the downside.
You can see the forest through the trees.
I don't actually know how to use that.
I've never used it. I always think Forbidden Forest, Harry Potter. I don't know. Why
know.
would you want to see through there?
I don't know. I just think of Fangorn Forest. You don't go in there.
No, what madness would drive you in there?
Okay, so the Z06 is a...
Name 5 incredible things about it.
Well, first of all, the C8 chassis alone, which did not obviously come out this year, is a huge step forward and a feat for GM. They literally... I love hearing the story of it. They're like, we want to do more power. We want to be able to put the power down, so we should move the engine. And they did.
Yeah.
I love that as an engineering thing. They're like, they literally got to a point of engineering a performance car where they genuinely had to move the engine to a different spot and redesign the entire chassis. They're like, we're doing this right, ground up.
And I just want to mention here, and I think it's something we'll discuss in another video about how press launches and press cars and press drives work.
Yeah.
But one of the absolute main benefits of going on a launch is you get to sit down and have dinner with all the people that worked on every part of the car.
Yeah.
And quiz them and see how passionate they are and see what they talk about and through all the brands. And it's...
And the best part about that is that the people that you're talking to are actual engineers. They're not PR people. They're not in marketing. They don't know how to do those things.
Yeah. They're on their best behavior.
They've been told, they've been warned.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can ask them pointed questions and they will tell you honest
And you could
truths.
probuld ask them
Especially if you apply alcohol to them.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you can definitely ask them for their dessert and they'll be like, under pain of death. But it's otherwise very useful and we got to talk to them about this car and
Yes.
it was, and we did that with a few cars this year. Except the Prius, which was almost car of the year. We weren't on that launch. We did it on our
we
own.
went to the place where they did the launch and got the car.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the GT, I'm reading the thing. The Z06, the engine in that car is an incredible feat. They took basically the Ferrari 458 engine and were like, how do we make this better? And then they did that. They improved all aspects of a flat plane crank V8 high revving naturally aspirated design, and as a result, the engine is sensational.
It was incredible getting out of the 458 straight into
straight into the Z06.
Yeah, and
and there are aspects of the power band in the Z06 that make it more livable than a 458. There's better torque curve.
I think
right?
livable is the best next thing about it. It's one of the top 5 things about that car is it's so livable.
Yes.
It's not as harsh as something like the 911 GT3 or the 4 GT that we jumped out of. You can literally, I mean, you drove that more than me that trip.
And you can completely cruise on the highway in a Z06. And not even be like shouting on a phone call.
Yeah.
You're not uncomfortable at all. It has cooled seats. It has heated seats. It's got a really good infotainment system. It's got a great visibility. There's good spots to put your elbows to cruise in.
And then you can beat a demon off the line.
You can beat a demon off the line, and you can absolutely rip around a track at incredibly high levels of performance. Like objective performance, numbers are the thing can do are incredible.
Yeah.
And
we haven't tracked it yet. We want to track it.
so we've tracked it. We haven't set a lap
Sorry, we
time
haven't set a lap time. We're going to do that at our home track in the spring.
Yeah. So we want to set a lap time at our home track so we can see where it stacks up on the leaderboard, and I think it's going to be real quick.
Yeah.
But it is honestly an amazing vehicle. Its ability to go from a cruising weekend, go get ice cream with your significant other, to shredding tires on a track.
While feeling special in the cockpit and making Ferrari sounds.
And the sounds and like the range of its abilities are incredible.
And at MSRP, it's a perfectly good price.
At MSRP, yes.
Scumbag dealers.
Yeah, there you go again.
All right.
The Achilles heel of it
The steering.
is the steering.
Yeah.
Yeah. If for some, I'm sure there's a reason why the steering doesn't feel as good as it could.
Yeah, it's not as good as the previous gen. If you've just jumped out of a new 4 GT,
It's better in the Z06 than the C8.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that's like surfaced contact patch with the giant Cup 2Rs and
Yeah, it's just adding more
and it's
weight.
light. Yeah. So
Also, I forgot to say, it's important. I don't think we even said this in a video. The C8 itself, it was a bit of some teething issues. Some handling characteristics that weren't dialed in. It changed a little bit. The Z06 fixes all of that. Every aspect that I didn't like about the C8, the Z06 fixes.
there we go.
So it was a huge step up.
And in a huge twist, joint car of the year, the Mercedes EQS. If you want to feel unsafe on a turn, it's got all the MC20 stuff.
Yep.
Makes you feel unsafe.
Yep.
Came out of nowhere.
If you want to have no headroom.
Looks different to everything else on the road.
Yep.
It's a garbage car.
It's a piece of, yeah.
All right, but special mentions do go to, first of all, and I think this is me more than you, but I've just lived with it, is the BMW iX.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really nice car to drive that's best enjoyed from the inside.
From the inside. The
Yes.
sound system the upgraded sound system is amazing.
Also, the interior is really cool.
Interior is so cool. It's
like
comfortable.
artistic.
The car handles better than something like a Rivian R1S, even though it doesn't have 3 rows. I really like the BMW iX.
Yeah.
Next is that 2022 Ford GT,
Yep.
which didn't come out. It got refreshed in 2020, so we didn't count it.
Yeah, but let's just say that if the Ford GT came out this year, and that was the first time we drove it,
It'd be my car of the year.
Probably be car of the year because
was
it's incredible.
So good. Don't ever drive one. It will ruin cars. From the steering immediately, I've never felt a car where immediately as you pull away, the steering just it's just like I don't know what it is. I still can't describe it.
Yeah.
And everyone who jumped in it was like, wow.
Yeah.
And it was just an amazing experience.
There's
fast.
there's a tactility to the connection.
You
It's
don't
just-
miss the V8,
No, you don't.
and it just feels
It's a brilliant
so
car.
special.
We said before we weren't going to talk a lot about all these cars that we're listing right now. This is supposed to be a list.
passionate.
This was your idea.
Yeah, you want a quick fire? No. RS3, go.
It's like
Pocket
it's like a
rocket.
Golf R, but more
New
expensive.
diff.
Moving on. EV6.
EV6 drives slightly better than the Ioniq 5.
Yep, but doesn't have as much headroom.
And doesn't look as good. So the Ioniq 5, but that came out last year.
Yeah, we said we were going to move on. Hummer EV.
Hummer
we already
EV,
talked about that
that.
one. We can move on.
The F-150
Ford
Lightning. It's an F-150 that's
The
electric.
Escalade V. That Lightning's great. Just started.
We're going to get demoted to extra throttle house. You're just going to
They're
lose
going to come back in here and they're going to tell us to come
And
back.
they are strong.
They are strong guys.
Yeah, the F-150
Especially that
Lightning
Thomas.
was very, very good. It's an F-150 that's electric.
It doesn't have the towing range, therefore it fails as a truck.
No, it
overall.
doesn't.
No, it fails as a truck.
No, it fails
If
as
you-
a towing truck.
Yeah, that's what it's created for.
How many people with an
Utility.
F-150 tow?
So many people.
No, it's all show, mate.
Escalade V. It's just a riot.
It's really very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It calms right down when you want it to. It goes absolutely insane when you want it to.
it's a brilliant.
Yeah, it's been a very, very cool year for cars. I know
Very
that
cool.
It's easy to go into doom and gloom mode of like, what's happening to cars?
Yeah.
They're really cool at the moment, and hopefully one day these prices will come down and people get to own cars like these.
And next year, the conversation like this, whether it happens on Extra Throttle House or here, if we've been demoted, is going to involve things like the C63, and we're going to decide if plugs truly are for butts.
They are.
But yeah,
Let me
next year.
check. Yeah.
It's not.
Demonetized.
Anyway, thanks for watching.
Thank you. If you're watching this before the end of the year, thank you so much.
For everything.
Yeah. I don't want to say we love all of you, because that's bullshit, and I don't know so many of you.
Yeah, you probably some of you probably suck.
Yeah, or just a bit whiffy. But that's actually you anyway, so
That's just me,
and I've
so.
overlooked that.
Yeah, well, you can join right in.
Yeah, honestly, like I think we're entering year 5 of Throttle House now, as it's currently.
As it's current.
Yeah. And it's been incredible, and some of the trips have been amazing, and especially now that we've been able to travel a lot this year.
We've been able to do the stuff
Yeah.
that we want to do, and we're just getting warmed up at this point. We've
Yeah.
got big plans.
And it was still a team of little team of car enthusiasts.
We're not little.
Some
Have
of
you
us-
seen Harrison?
Some of us
He's
are little.
like 6
yeah,
foot
he
6.
brings up the average height.
Yeah.
But we are otherwise quite a few of us are little.
Yeah.
And we are very grateful that you all come out to watch this. If it's not my mum with a million Google accounts, then we are grateful.
Yeah.
If it is my mum, thanks mum
Thanks,
a million
hi, Mom.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, expect lots more.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have a cool ending line because this is the main Throttle House video. Usually there's like a high quality voiceover or
No, I'm
something.
just gonna say Happy New Year. We drink to you.
Oh, yeah.
That's cultural appropriation.
Cheers.
That's appropriation.
That's cold now.